Cover the child exploitation going on in our cities.
This is slavery, modern-day slavery.
It's also a story of organised crime, charged with accusations of racism against one ethnic group.
Every single day you can find calls to be killed, to be shot, everything you can imagine.
We follow the trail, starting with child beggars in London,
For him,
leading to palaces in Romania.
we should move.
We meet the gypsy boss accused of trafficking children.
We can't stop anybody from begging. For 2,000 years, we've been living off begging.
We confront the mothers who exploit their own.
You've never been begging? No. That's not true, though, is it?
We challenge the families behind them. And we ask, is anyone going to save those born into begging? The week before Christmas, Oxford Street in London. Shoppers brave the cold in search of last-minute gifts for their families. But not all the children here are enjoying the Christmas spirit. For some, like on so many other nights, it's time for work. These are Britain's child beggars. With them are women, overseeing their every move, taking the money they make. Amongst the shoppers, we see this small girl. We can't show her face. We don't know her name. We will call her Alice. Controlling Alice is this young woman, who continually pushes her to beg. Alice makes good money, and all of it ends up in the hands of the minder. This is Alice's life. She walks for miles in the cold and the rain. She looks to be 4 years old. She scavenges for food in McDonald's and has to use a phone box for a toilet. But who is Alice and the other child beggars? How is this allowed to happen? And where does the money go? To find out, we use small video cameras to film the beggars without them knowing, month after month.
I've been watching these women beg in Oxford Street, Marble Arch, Edgware Road. Now, when I first saw it, I thought, no, this is petty crime. It's not big stuff. It's not nasty. But it goes on hour after hour after hour. And the way they're abusing the children and the babies to make money, it's shocking.
I want to know where Alice and the other children come from. So one night, I go to the Edgware Road in London's West End. I see two young girls begging.
Where are you from?
Romania.
Romania, yeah?
Big.
Okay. And how old are you? How old are you?
9.
9. And how old are you?
Is this 7?
7. Okay.
They say they come from Romania's capital, Bucharest. To find out more, I try out my pidgin Romanian.
Unde părinte?
Părinți?
Yeah. Unde? Over there? Your mum? Yeah?
It's now 10 at night.
Hello. Is this your mum? Hello. Where are you from?
Bosnia. If one baby's more, know how many the milk.
She's pretending to be from Bosnia, but she's lying.
It's 4 children.
You got 4 children.
4 children.
Your daughter said you were from Romania. De unde ești in Romania?
Bucharest.
Bucharest.
Not no money for nappies for me. They want babies as well.
But shouldn't they be in bed? Shouldn't they be asleep?
Give it to 20 pounds. They like me milk. Milk for baby, please.
Yes, okay.
A bin man joins in the conversation.
Every night they're walking around here.
Till to how late?
until 1 o'clock.
It's not safe. And you see it all the time?
Yes, every day.
Okay, no.
As I go to leave, there's a fight. It's no time for kids to be out.
Children who are forced to beg can often face the most traumatic experiences. It means that they're denied an education, they'll have nutrition issues, health issues, but they'll also grow up believing that this is the only way or the normal way of earning a living, and therefore not being able to see a pathway into a different future. It really is denying them their childhood.
Alongside Alice and other little ones begging in central London, there are many teenage beggars, nearly all girls. One night, we filmed from a distance as I ask one of them about her life.
How old are you? 14. And where do you live in London? What's it like?
One room.
Small room. Your English is good. You used to go to school. You go to school now. Why not?
I don't have money.
In Britain, school is free.
I know, I don't have money to pay the room. I stay.
I just felt, listening to her lack of ambition, her lack of hope, her lack of a future, it was really, really sad. This is a waste. That girl could do something with her life.
Paddington Station. Like any other commuter, the girl we're calling Alice and her minder start the day here. First, they go to a fast food place to have breakfast. There, they meet up with other women, some with babies. When they come out, almost everyone is wearing a headscarf. Alice too. Then they head for Bayswater, where one of the women steals a headscarf.
That's the scarf that she just stolen.
The begging day begins. Alice is well trained. When a passerby gives her a coin, Alice knows to push for more. The minder steps in. It's a well-rehearsed double act. Alice keeps on at her until the woman hands over a fiver. Then, they hurry off.
This is slavery, modern day slavery. How does a child 3, 4, 5, 6 consent to be exploited? They won't know whether it's criminal to beg on the streets of the UK. They're kids.
The group of beggars heads for the Edgware Road, a mainly Arab Muslim area. Alice begs from a roadside cafe, whilst her minder meets up with the others. All these young women favour Muslim dress. Locals have seen it all before.
Every 5 minutes you see like 3, 4 people coming and begging from the customers. Every day a lot of people from this gypsy, Romanian, was coming here to pack the people to take money.
How do you know they're Romanian?
First of all, she doesn't speak Arabic. Like that. Second, she speaks Romanian language. They are not Muslim, they are gypsy. They are Muslim because there are a lot of Arabic and feel sorry for them and they give them the money. That's why.
Very few Romanian gypsies follow Islam. But these women are in traditional Muslim dress from head to toe. Are they Muslim? One day, one of them spots our camera. Not very Islamic.
Give me an idea of how much money you think they might make during the course of a day.
I think that's at least 200, 300 pounds.
Every day, say 200, 300, sometimes 500 pounds clear in your pocket. It's a good job.
500 a day seems exaggerated, but we've seen them make good money. Back on the street, a police car passes by, and the women all run away laughing. They hide from the police in a side street. There's 13 of them, mostly with babies and buggies. Once the coast is clear, they head back out onto the main street, where they return to work. After begging for 7 hours, the group heads back to Paddington Station. For Alice, the working day is coming to an end. So what are the police doing about the child beggars? During the course of our investigation, we see this happen at least a dozen times. The police stop them and take their details. But the minders who run the child beggars are not afraid. This is just part of the daily routine. Cheekily, they snap the officers with their camera phones, souvenirs of the day. Then, time and again, the police let them go. But what these women are doing is against the law. Begging is no big crime, but for child exploitation, they could get up to 14 years in jail. We filmed dozens of women using their babies as begging tools and their children to beg. The police told us officers can use their discretion, including arrest or court summons. They may decide it's not in the best interest of the child to take the women who are often their mothers into custody, but they may refer to social services.
The authorities in Britain today are not doing anywhere near enough to help child beggars. There's a complete lack of understanding about the impact on children. This isn't just a police issue. This is one in which both health, education, children's social services all need to be involved. It's child safeguarding first and foremost, and it must be addressed as a child protection issue.
So how can it be that a 4-year-old like Alice can be seen begging by the police, but they do nothing effective to stop it? There's no doubt that one telling factor is who these beggars actually are.
They're gypsies or Roma from Romania. Only a small minority of Roma beg, but all the women and children we've filmed on the streets of London begging come from this community. Roma are the largest ethnic minority in Europe and the poorest. For centuries, they've been living on the edge, barely scraping a living. Throughout history, gypsies have faced persecution. During the Second World War, the Nazis tried to exterminate them. That nightmare is over. But even now in Romania, where many Roma live, racism against the gypsies is widespread.
Every single day you can find tens, maybe hundreds of calls to gypsies to be killed, to be burned to death, to be sterilized, to be shot, to be expelled, everything you can imagine.
Over the last 2 decades, as Romanian gypsies try to settle in Western Europe, trouble. In Italy, gypsy camps were burnt down by neo-fascists or bulldozed by the authorities. France offered gypsies cash to go home, a policy condemned as being both racist and foolish. And in Northern Ireland, no peace for the gypsies. Here, violence drove them from their homes.
Gypsies throughout the ages have been stereotyped as criminals, as thieves, as beggars, as vagabonds, as a problem. We need to get away from the idea that one group of people is particularly prone to criminality, because that's just not true.
We're not just discriminated saints, we're not just scums, we are somewhere in the middle.
Ordinary people.
Yes. Very discriminated, but ordinary.
But the police in Britain say that the poverty and discrimination gypsies suffer makes them vulnerable to crime gangs.
A time when the Roma should be obtaining a position within mainstream society, there are people within their own community that want to keep the oppression going because they're making money off the back of it.
The police suspect that many children they've caught begging and stealing in the UK were brought here by these men from a small town called Sandarai in Romania. They're all accused of being members of a child trafficking gang. The Met set up Operation Golf to target the alleged traffickers.
The gang elements that were driving this phenomenon in the streets of London come from a town called Tandere in southeast Romania. The gang leaders and senior members of the gang have 7, 8, 10-bedroom mansions, 3 stories high, some of them, marble floors, marble kitchens. The wealth that is displayed, I can only say, is being obscene.
Last year, the joint British-Romanian police team decided they had enough evidence to arrest the gang in Romania. 400 officers, backed up by helicopters and elite troops, moved in. They targeted 34 villas. The police found machine guns, knives, swords, and bulletproof vests. They seized houses, luxury cars, thousands of pounds worth of currency, and 11 kilos of gold. The police believe they made a breakthrough against the gang, accused of trafficking nearly 200 children to the UK.
The gang themselves placed the earning potential of a single child in London at €40,000 a quarter. That's not far off £100,000 a year earning potential from one child. And that child is begging and stealing and being used for benefit fraud as well.
But the arrests in Romania appear to have made little difference back in London. The begging carries on. Alice and the others are still putting in the hours, making money. To keep them going, a can of Red Bull and cola in the baby's bottle. But who is forcing Alice to beg? Is it just the woman we see her with? Or has she been trafficked here by an organised crime gang? It's Friday. Alice, her minder and the others changed their routine. With Alice using her usual Muslim disguise, they head off to a mosque in West London. It's becoming clear what they're up to. They're exploiting the religious duty of Muslims to be charitable. Back to their regular patch on the Edgware Road, through the rain. 2 officers stop them, taking their details. Soon, they let them go. We don't know whether later they take further action. But on London streets, there's no sign of the urgency shown by the Operation Golf team towards this problem.
So there are the women behind me. It's one of those miserable wet London days when it's just kind of bone-chilling to be out. And with them is the girl, and they're still here, still at it. It's desperate.
After a hard day's begging, where does Alice go? Paddington, the 1912 to Twyford. Still hidden from view, we film the group. Time to change. When they emerge at Slough in Berkshire, Alice has swapped her Muslim headscarf and put on a bubble hat. Through the snow, they walk for nearly 2 miles to Chalby, up against the M4.
Just playing with the snow.
Here they start throwing snowballs. Alice gets a few moments to be the child that she is. We start to get noticed, so we have to leave. Across Britain, it's estimated that there are 500,000 Eastern European gypsies. Alice's community here in Slough is one of the largest. This town was also home to a Roma gypsy girl who, like Alice, was forced to beg. At home she was beaten and treated like a domestic slave.
She slept on the floor. She was only fed potatoes because the main food went to the rest of the household. This is where we started getting an understanding of the house slave.
This is Oliver Twister.
This is all very Oliver Twist stuff, and this goes on every day in Britain.
In court, 4 adults, including her own father, were found guilty, Britain's first ever conviction for forced child labour trafficking, and given a total of 13 years.
Every normal thinking person would say a child is best served by being with their parents. It is a huge challenge if their parents are complicit in their trafficking in the first place.
So this is the heart of the problem. The adults we see exploiting the children are often their own mothers. And new arrivals from Romania keep on coming. Take this very young girl we spotted in Edgware Road. She doesn't look older than 5. Her minder is in full Muslim dress, and baby comes too. They get on the tube at Marble Arch, heading east on the Central Line. It's past 9 o'clock. Despite the long hours, the little girl is still playful. The child in the pushchair is dog-tired. By the time they get to Tottenham Court Road, they're unable to find their way. On a piece of paper, an address. One man sends them in the opposite direction. She shows the bit of paper to other passengers. This woman looks hungry and she doesn't have any English. In the big city, she looks completely lost. Time to take off her Muslim costume. They get on the tube and head north. The end of the line, Walthamstow. Here she seems to know where she's going. Home. We found out that she's the girl's mother. This woman can barely make her way across London, yet she uses a Muslim disguise and knows the best spots to beg. Who is telling her what to do? Was she trafficked here? Is she a victim or a perpetrator? In one day, this girl can probably earn what an adult from her village back in Romania makes in a whole month. There may be another reason she's begging on our streets: desperation. Officially, unlike, say, Poles, there are restrictions on what jobs Romanians can do in the UK, and unless they've worked here for a year legally, they're not entitled to benefits.
Romanians do not have an automatic right to employment kit, so one of their ways of earning money is begging. You don't see Polish Roma or Slovak Roma begging on the streets, and that could well be that, in fact, they do have the right to work here.
Romanians may not be entitled to benefits, but Operation Golf proved that gangs can easily find a way around the rules. Birmingham last year. The police raid the house of the ringleader of a group connected to the Sandarai Gypsy gang. Under the bathtub, they find a treasure trove.
Numerous folders containing names on the front, with the HM Revenue and Customs documentation inside. Inside this folder, looks like we've got Romanian blank birth certificates.
The group used forged Home Office documents and fake Romanian birth certificates to claim benefits worth £800,000. Paperwork related to children that either didn't exist or were not in the country. The forgeries were not that hard to spot. That date, the 31st of November, does not exist. Say what you like about the Home Office, but it doesn't spell Croydon like this. Nor is it trying to build a tolerante society. Fake documents like these led to fake benefits being paid to real bank accounts. Police established that some of the money was taken on budget airlines back to Romania. The ringleader and his sidekicks got a total of 10 years in jail. For Operation Golf, cracking down on benefit fraud is one way to disrupt the child traffickers.
I've always worked on, I suppose, the Al Capone scenario. Al Capone was never done for the murders he was alleged to have committed, he was done for tax evasion. If we have intelligence that someone is involved with the gangs, then we would prosecute where we had the best evidence, and in many occasions that was benefit fraud and other crimes.
But it's not only the police who are worried about Roma child begging and related crime. 3 years ago, a senior MP warned that at any one time there could be as many as 2,000 gypsy Romanian children being exploited here. To find out more about the gangs and their victims, I'm going to the heart of the problem on the other side of Europe, Romania.
It looks like a modern country, but parts of it are still very poor. Here there are more than 2 million gypsies, many living in dire poverty. Some gypsy villages seem locked in the Middle Ages. In this village, the gypsies are segregated from the Romanians. Life here is bleak. No one's got a proper job, no running water. You might have a satellite dish, but no roof. 17 people live in this shack. What do they live on?
We have no money. We have nothing. My wife goes begging in the village.
I'm his mother, and if I go begging, I'll take him with me, because he's more likely to get a bit of bread, because he's a child. But they don't give any to me. They say go and work, but they give him a bit of bread.
The kids are taught the technique of how to beg by their mothers.
And I tell him to say, "Lady, have mercy on me. Have charity for the love of God."
As the children are the main breadwinners, going to school comes second to begging.
If there's no food in the house at all, I'll take him begging again with me, and then he doesn't go to school for 2-3 days, for a week.
I hear that some of their old neighbours have gone to the west.
What about you? Do you want to go to the west?
I'd go too, but I don't have the money to go overseas. We don't have money, we don't have food.
If they borrow money from the gypsy loan sharks, they have to pay back, big time.
Here for 100 we have to pay back 200, but what are we going to live on if we pay that interest with 7 or 8 children?
The police say families become slaves to the gangsters, forced to beg to pay off debt. Preying on the dirt poor is one of the accusations against the gypsy gang targeted by Operation Golf. The men arrested in the raids last year in Sandarai were charged with trafficking almost 200 children to the UK. They've now spent 7 months in jail. But the trial is in crisis. Everyone in the dock pleaded not guilty. The Romanian police have 60 volumes of evidence, including records of child begging and stealing in the UK, phone taps and money transfers. But the accused say the evidence is flawed and claim they are innocent.
There are no victims who complain that I took their child and trafficked them.
They charged me with trafficking my cousin, who's 54 years old, saying he's a minor, and that I received money from my children. I didn't go out of the country. I didn't traffic anyone.
We are gypsies, and that's why we are here. We have no justice in Romania. I want to be freed.
The accused are freed on bail and return to their villas in Sandarai. Welcome to Sandarai. Locals say there's more than 400 gypsy villas here, built in the last 15 years. Where did the money come from? Some of it, no doubt, from legitimate sources, but some of it from the proceeds of crime abroad. So this is number 84, and the guy who owns that is a guy called Ilya Shian, and he's currently a guest of Her Majesty. He's in the nick for 3 years, and I was in court when the judge sent him down. And the judge said, words to the effect that this man had made himself a fortune by ripping off the British taxpayer. He was convicted of benefit fraud. Outside another villa, our camera attracts the wrong kind of attention. The lady in front of that big villa, she was very, very angry with us that we'd been filming the villa. She was making it absolutely clear in no uncertain terms. She did not want us to film that place. I call on one of the men we last saw in the dock, Petrica Dragushin, nicknamed Traian, Trajan, after the Roman emperor.
From the BBC Panorama. Hello.
Welcome. Please come in.
Thank you.
Traian is the Bulibasha, the town's gypsy boss. He shows me around his orchard and claims that he makes an honest living as a small farmer and has nothing to do with organised crime. I ask him, according to gypsy law, is it all right to beg?
We can't stop anybody from begging. For 2,000 years, since we come from India, we've been living off begging.
I ask him about the gypsy kids I've seen begging in London. Has he got anything to do with them?
There are children who beg in Britain. There are children who steal, but they're there with their parents. We have no connection with them.
He tells me that gypsies are making a lot of money out of British benefits.
The blame is with the British state, and the question is why? Because the British state gives them money, which is very much money, a lot of money, with a lot of value in Romania. They save this money. They have lots of children, 7 or 8 or 10 children. And with the money they build a house in Romania. And if they have many children, they build a villa. This is where what you see here comes from. Villas, houses, cars.
And he says benefit fraud based on fake Romanian birth certificates is rife.
Some collect 10, 12, 13,000 pounds per month. They have 3 or 4 or 5 sets of benefits.
Wow. Does everybody in Sandarai know that?
Yes, everyone.
Back in Britain, how does what we found out in Romania fit in with Alice's story? We've made some progress. Time and again, she and her minder meet up with a whole group of women and children at Slough Station. We've also been watching Alice's house, and we found out that her minder is actually her mother. As a teenager, she was allegedly trafficked out of Romania by the Sandarai gang. We've been told that she comes from a town in the southeast, not far from Sandarai. Her name? Denisa Mazaraki. And across London, we found a new begging hotspot outside the Regent's Park Mosque. This girl around 12 years old, and this boy, perhaps 4 years old, begging. We'll call the boy Lou. The children target the worshippers. Both are run by this woman. Lou's here almost every Friday with his minder, and another woman with a buggy. We also come across some old faces, like this woman now pregnant, and this 14-year-old girl, who back on Oxford Street told me she couldn't afford to go to school. When Lou's not around, his minder runs this teenage girl and another girl, maybe 7 years old. Both work hard begging, trying to persuade the worshippers to part with their money. On another day, Lou's group is joined by a third woman who controls a boy of about 13. They beg for 3.5 hours, then head off on the bus. And so do we. Journey's End, Ilford in Essex. In the driveway, a BMW X5. This area, like Slough, has a history of Roma children being controlled by organised crime. 4 a.m. October last year. 300 officers, led by Operation Golf, are going on a raid in Ilford, searching for children allegedly trafficked by the Sandarai gang. Their names are on a Romanian police intelligence list of 1,000 children they believe were moved out of Romania by the gang 5 years ago.
It's 4 adults, 6 kids, premises are secure.
Can you explain to them that we have a search warrant to search this address?
So you're 10 years old? And you're next? She's 6, is that correct?
In the control room, good news filters through.
Yeah, so it's 4 adults in that address, then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10 children.
10 children.
Safeguarding?
2 of those are definitely on the list.
15 children are taken into police protection, but they're all found to be living with their own families and going to school. Deemed safe, they are returned to their parents. No one in Britain is charged with their trafficking or exploitation.
How come they're on the list of children that were trafficked if they were with their parents?
One of the challenges that we have faced in this investigation from the start is the fact that the victims, the children, and the victims, when it's their parents, either aren't willing to step forward and speak up or don't even realise that they're victims.
For some, police actions like these risk causing further damage to the entire Roma community.
The protection of children comes first before anything, whether they're Roma children or not. I think that if you're investigating a community, it has to be done with sensitivity. Every time, in fact, there is a raid or a big investigation, you take a step back in terms of community cohesion.
Others go further.
Some critics will say that what you're actually being is racist. You're targeting this community. What would you say to that?
The accusation of being racist is something we've faced since we began this investigation. And I can absolutely say with total conviction that that could not be further from the truth. If it was children from any community being forced to beg and steal and being effectively denied a childhood, I wouldn't care which community they were from, this operation would have the same focus, the same drive, the same determination. The fact is that these children are from the Romanian Roma community, and we can't get away from that. And we've got a duty of not only care, but an obligation to those children to actually do the best that we can to take them away from that life of exploitation.
Operation Golf, targeting the Gypsy gang, came to a close at the end of last year. British and Romanian officers got together to share the lessons learned and celebrate the 75 convictions they secured in the UK for members of the Sandarai gang.
There are still children begging and stealing on the streets of London from the Romanian Roma community. It was never the aim to free us from what effectively is modern-day slavery. What we set out to do is to impact on a gang that was causing significant harm to London, and I believe that we've been successful in that.
With Golf over, the government says it's tightening the benefit system and improving protection for exploited children by working with police and welfare agencies. But is this enough for the children we've seen?
They're back on the streets begging, and we film that again and again and again. So why is nothing effective being done to stop child beggars on our streets?
It's not true to say that nothing effective is being done. Are there still people committing crimes in this country? Yes, there are. Are the authorities in this instance actually doing more effective things against them? Yes, we are. In the end, the people you want to get are not necessarily the woman with the child on the street. They may well both be being exploited. It's actually the big international criminals behind it. Taking them out will, in the end, be the most effective way of stopping having women and children begging on the street.
But is it just gangs that are exploiting these children? Outside the Regent's Park Mosque, Lou is still being forced to beg. Who controls him? Back in Ilford, where we saw Lou before, the BMW is still in the driveway. Not a motor you'd associate with child beggars. Young children appear at the window. It's not just women and children. These men too come and go. Later, we see one of these men walking with Lou. In front of the BMW, we see this man we identify as Jon Rostash and his wife, Stella. This is their daughter, Vandana Rostash. We've been told she's been investigated by the police for benefit fraud. One Friday, I go to the Regent's Park Mosque and try to talk to Vandana Rostash and the others.
They were absolutely waiting for everybody to come out of the mosque.
The woman controlling Lou is making the most out of him.
Sorry? A pound. How old's he? He's 4. You're 4? You speak any English? Is he at school?
Yeah.
Yeah? At school? Hello.
Another of the women senses a soft touch.
Where are you from?
Me?
Yeah.
Romania.
Romania. Uh-huh.
Thank you.
For him? Okay, here's a pound. Oh, you speak some English, yeah? You speak some English. Well, I'll give it to him.
You give it for me one.
No, I've given him the pound. That's enough.
Finally, I talk to Vandana Rostash, the woman investigated for benefit fraud.
Don't you get any money from what about social services? Don't you get any money from them? No housing benefit? No child benefit? But I gave some money because there was a little boy. They said it was 4, but
my baby home.
Your baby's home.
Yes.
How many babies have you got? 6. 6? Home is where? Where do you live?
Ilford.
Sorry?
Ilford.
Ilford. Thank you very much. Thank you.
No mention of the BMW in the driveway. It's now summer, and the streets of central London are busier than ever with gypsy beggars. Some picnic in the middle of the Marble Arch roundabout, others right on the pavement. This woman changes her baby's nappy on someone's doorstep. We see yet more new faces, like this boy who looks no older than 9, and this girl in her early teens. A whole new group of women have arrived, some pregnant, some carry babies in their arms or in pushchairs. Alice is here too, working hard. From this man alone, she extracts a handful of notes. This little boy, part of Alice's group, is still a toddler. Now he can walk, he's pushed straight towards a cash point to beg. He can't be more than 3 years old. People are sympathetic towards him, and his minder is making a lot more money. When he's too tired to walk, his minder uses him as a begging prop. One day, Denisa, Alice's mum, supervises the little boy. Though he's just begun to walk, he's being made to chase after this woman to get her cash. Sometimes, Alice and the boy beg in tandem. His minder keeps an eye on them.
After months of surveillance, it's time to get some answers. We've written to the people behind the child begging, people exploiting children like Alice and Lou. No one's got back to us, so I'm going to try and put our evidence to them myself.
I head for the Regent's Park Mosque, favoured spot for little Lou and the Ilford team. I come across one of Lou's group. This time we're filming openly.
Panorama. We filmed you for months using your child to beg. Begging is against the law.
No, I don't beg. I've been visiting a friend.
I have personally seen you here before.
I don't beg. I've got to go. My sister's coming.
How old is the baby?
Don't bother.
I couldn't find Lou or Vandana Rostash, so I'm heading to the house they rent in Ilford, where we saw the BMW. There's no sign of the car here, and no sign of people. There's a good chance that they left when they found out we'd been filming them. In Slough, I go to Alice's house. It's also rented.
We're going to go and knock on their door and ask them what they've been up to.
Again, nothing.
Hello?
Alice and Mum Denisa Mazaraki have disappeared. At a bus stop, we spot the woman who was overseeing the toddler begging at the cash point.
We've been filming you on Oxford Street for months, and you've been taking this child begging. Why in this day and age is it necessary for you to exploit this child?
No, no begging.
You're saying you're not begging?
No.
You've never been begging?
No.
That's not true though, is it? That's you.
I show her our pictures, and she admits to begging.
Sometime you can make up to £100 a day, maybe more. What's happening with this money? Where's this money going?
I'm not making £100, no.
How much money do you make?
£10, £20.
£10, £20 a day?
Yes.
But you go there in the morning and you come back late at night. You only make 20 quid a day. I don't quite believe you, I'm afraid. Hold on. Begging is against the law, and child begging is worse because you're exploiting this child. Where's the money go?
The money is mine. I don't give it to anyone. I only go begging for this little one, to feed him, to buy him food. I don't do anything else.
Both Alice and Lou and their minders have gone. The most likely place where they are now? Romania. The people who run Lou come from here, Huadine in the north of the country. Admire the bling in brick and mortar. And cars with British number plates are common. We head for the address we've been given for the Ilford group. As we drive past, we see the BMW that was parked at the house in Ilford.
It's the same car. Black BMW X5.
Some of the faces we saw in Ilford are here too. And this is Jon Rostash. We last saw him at the address in Ilford. We're told he's head of the family.
We should move. We need to come back here.
The next day, we return to the street and film secretly. The BMW is still here, and so is this Ford Transit and a people carrier, all with British plates. People from the Ilford group are here loading up the cars, and amongst them is little Lou, the 4-year-old boy we first saw begging outside Regent's Park Mosque. We send our evidence to these addresses. Still no reply, so I'll be back. Later in Huadine, I head for a second address we've got for Jon Rostash.
This is the man who we believe owns this house. That's what the land registry says. Hello, John Sweeney from the BBC. Now, it's by no means the biggest of these kind of palaces in Huadine, but it's hardly a beggar's house, is it? Look at it.
No sign of Lou here, but across the road I spot Jan Rustash and his wife Stella. We've never seen him beg, but I want to ask why his family does.
Hello, hi, my name is John Sweeney and I work for BBC Panorama. Mr. Rostas, can I have a word with you, please? Hold on a second, hold on a second. Mr. Rostas, may I have a word with you, please, sir? Hello, sir. I'd like to, John Sweeney from BBC Panorama. Hello, sir. Hello, hi. I'd like to ask you, sir, why are you... Okay, I'd like to ask you about child begging. I'd like to ask you about child begging, okay? This is you outside your house in Ilford, yeah? Okay. This is also your house over here, yes, okay. And this is a little boy, Lou, and we repeatedly filmed him child begging. So hold on a second, she will translate. So why go child begging if you've got lots of money? Hold on a second, sorry, excuse me. No, okay, so the question is simple. Why child beg if you've got lots of money? It's a fair question, surely. Okay. But child begging is wrong. Child begging is wrong. And you own that house. You don't know. Okay, now.
She isn't giving me much of a chance to put our questions to him.
Why do you come to London and beg if you've got pots of money? We've been told in no uncertain terms that we should leave, and that's what we're going to do. We're going now. Okay, we're going now. We're going. We're going. Yeah, we're going now. Okay, let's go.
I was unable to find out anything about Lou, where he is, and whether he is still begging. But what about Alice and her mum, Denisa?
We tracked the little girl we call Alice back to this town. It's called Fatesht, and we've got an address. And we're going to go and knock on the door.
Like Sandarai and Huadin, Fatesht is full of gypsy villas. This is Denisa Mazaraki's registered address.
Hello, hi. Hi, hello, hi. Hi. My name is John Sweeney and I work for BBC. We're looking for a woman that we believe is called Denisa Mazaraki.
This man claims she doesn't live here and says he knows nothing about her. A few streets away, we have more addresses for the Mazaraki family. There are lots of nice villas around here too. But no one on this street has heard of the Mazaraki family either.
Do you recognise any of these faces? This little girl, Alice. This lady here, we think Denisa Mazaraki. They beg in Oxford Street in London all the time, month after month. You don't know them? Are you sure?
This man should know about Alice and Denisa. I'm told he's Denisa's grandfather.
This little girl, is that your granddaughter? So if she is, then why on earth does she spend month after month begging? They're begging. We film them for month after month after month. Can I ask you your name?
Georgi Nikolai.
Georgi Nikolai.
Nikolai și Georgi.
And nothing to do with Mazaraki?
No, Mazaraki e plecat. Ăla e plecat la cimitir, Mazaraki.
Okay. Nothing to do with extended family anyway. So, but you've already said you've recognised them. So we'll go now.
So where is Alice and her mum Denisa, who we followed on the streets of London over 8 months? Some minutes later, the old man calls me back. And there, waiting for us, is Denisa Mazaraki herself, Alice's mother.
Este fata care este acolo.
Hi.
A strigat-o pe
You speak
telefon.
English? Lovely, smashing. You're
Oh,
Denise,
lovely.
yeah?
Yeah, I'm Denise.
And I've met you in London, I think.
Vezi că am vorbit la telefon și a venit, îmi dai banul.
And this is...
I show her pictures of her daughter begging in Oxford Street.
Excuse me, I don't want TV.
But why beg? Why take this little girl begging? We filmed you in the snow. We
Yes, I
filmed
know.
the little girl
Listen.
going to the toilet in the street. It's absolutely clear
Yes.
that you took your child begging for month after month after month, yeah?
After month, after month, after month.
Yeah, why do it?
I'm sorry, I'm saying, because they don't have money travel. Now, they for take one ticket, some take food, something.
Okay.
Because I'm begging
Right.
that day, one day I'm begging. Don't beg every day.
She's adamant that she only begs occasionally, but we know different.
So the problem is this. Begging is wrong.
Yes,
Using children is wrong.
Okay, I'm saying sorry.
Okay, good. And so are you going to go begging again?
No.
Okay, never again?
No.
You're not. Is that little girl going to go to school?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, go
Good.
Nancy.
Good. But there is money here. I mean, that's what's so upsetting when you realise that you've come from a place. This isn't so poor that you have to beg.
All right.
Who made you beg?
Nothing. Myself. And now, no beg more. I might myself then go to school. I might go job. Don't beg more.
Okay, good.
As we are leaving, Denise approaches me again.
It's a long time, sir. I'm here. I have here 1 year at my home.
You've been here for a year.
Well, yes.
So when did you leave England?
I'm living 1 year ago.
Oh, you left a year ago?
Yes.
You really?
Yes.
Is that the truth?
Yes, the truth.
The truth.
Yes.
She was begging in London 2 months before. She's lying. We didn't get to see Alice. We now know her real name, but to protect her, we won't reveal it. Maybe, as her mother says, she is in nursery. Maybe not. Out on our streets, the cycle of exploitation continues. The girl who told me that she was 14 and couldn't afford to go to school is now pregnant and still begging. A pregnant woman that we filmed has now given birth and is out with her newborn, the latest recruit to Britain's child beggars.
I think the begging and trafficking of children is completely unacceptable and should be stopped. And it's not just the responsibility of the police, it's also our responsibility. So us as Roma or Roma activists or human rights activists need to speak up a lot.
Maybe we should be asking those people that stand up for the Roma community, try and dispel some of these myths. It's okay to beg. It's okay to steal. It's what we do. Well, I'm sorry, we've moved on from the 18th century and other people need to move with us. Education, opportunity, work. That's what will get people out of poverty. That is what people will get people out of oppression.
There are many girls like Alice and boys like Lou on our streets. During our investigation, Panorama filmed more than 50 Romanian gypsy children exploited through begging. This